Hello, I'm Matt Hatton, founding partner at Transformer Insights. I am here on the IoT M2M Council booth at CES 2025. I'm joined by Ryan Chappelle, who is the Senior Director of Business Development at Core. Ryan, welcome. Isn't it great to be here at CES, getting 2025 off to a flying start?
It is fantastic to be here. The place is packed, great energy here, and lots of cool applications already.
Absolutely.
We're seeing.
We're here to talk about IoT connectivity.
I guess so, yeah.
We're seeing, I think, probably now as being the time when there's more changes happening in this space than probably ever before. So what are some of the key trends that you're seeing in IoT connectivity?
So many, but even just walking the floor here, you're seeing a lot of trends, obviously multi-carrier. Yep. You know, there have been a couple of major carrier outages this year, and people are wanting to really solidify and future-proof their devices. But also, with NB-IoT going down, you're seeing the rise of Cat 1 Biz. That's starting to happen a lot now too. So we're starting to see those buzzwords around with a lot of these types of kiosk applications and applications that are out in the field that it's going to be a lot of trouble. They don't use a ton of data, but they don't really want to truck roll them either.
Yeah. So this is customers coming to you specifically and asking for, well, obviously they'd ask for multi-carrier because they want that reliability of being able to fall back onto other networks and so on. But Cat 1 Bis and some of these other technologies, are they actively asking, or is it just something you can see happening or ramping up in 2025?
So our customers aren't experts in IoT connectivity, and we certainly don't expect them to be, but we have had customers that have come to us that have sunk an entire strategy into NB-IoT, and they need a different direction, and they're kind of freaking out, and we recommend Cat 1 Biz. You know, it's a smaller footprint, it's a better bill of materials, cost savings, single antenna, and takes advantage of the Cat 1 network. And SuperSIM, our SuperSIM can actually take advantage of that too, of that network as well.
Yeah, okay, so it's got a lot of things to recommend it, not mostly the fact that it continues to rely on networks that are well rolled out, well understood, well deployed, mature technologies rather than some of the newer arrivals, shall we say? Yeah, good stuff. What would you say are some of the biggest connectivity challenges that enterprises are facing today? What
I'm seeing a lot is reliability. Okay. Reliability is big. You know, a couple of major carriers had huge outages this year, and Core customers that had our SuperSIM, which we acquired from Twilio IoT, and also our OmniSIM, our multi-MZ SIMs, and customers that had those SIMs in the field, we actually have data that show that carrier fail in the field and SuperSIM pick up in a matter of seconds. So they didn't notice any difference in any of their connectivity in the field.
Okay.
So I think that people are really worried about reliability and the cost of truck rolling and making sure that they can have that 100% uptime.
Okay. Best ways of addressing that? I guess you've sort of talked to that a little bit in terms of having that access to multiple carriers and be able to integrate that all in a single SKU.
Yeah, a single SKU too, but also Core has built their own mobile core, our own software to cloud mobile core, and we actually acquired it from Twilio IoT. So along with the reliability of multi-carriers, we actually give the customer the power within the mobile core to be able to select certain carriers, disable other carriers, or activate all the carriers they want to make sure that they can have that granular coverage when they're out in the field.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah. Does that vary between different use cases, verticals, applications? Is there some that have a greater requirement for that reliability? Is there much of a spectrum of demand?
From what I'm seeing, it's all moving that way toward the future. Okay. I mean, people are deploying out in the country. You know, we have smart ag solutions out in Nebraska. I'm from Nebraska, so I can say I know all about the boondocks and out in the field.
Okay, good stuff.
But you know, it's important to have that multi-carrier solution because if something goes down, the cost to go out and truck roll a device is just not. It's just not worth it. It's astronomical. For some enterprises.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of our key themes for IoT connectivity during 2025 revolves around eSIM, and then there's the extension onto iSIM.
Oh my gosh.
And it's both in terms of maybe the form factor, but also the way that you manage those SIMs with the remote SIM provisioning, right? I talked at the start about how there's a whole lot of changes going on in the space.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the big ones. Now, how do you see that playing out over the course of next year and maybe beyond?
I think as companies, as we move toward the future of IoT connectivity, I think it's going to be the primary connectivity option. Is it for everybody now? If they're future-proofing their devices, it probably should be. Because you think about some of the abilities with multi-carrier, but then you bring in, okay, if we start with eSIM, you're talking, you have countries that have permanent roaming restrictions, right? And eSIM is going to allow you to control that SIM and download a native network. Core has that right now on our OmniSIM, and it's proven invaluable for customers out in the field, especially as they go up to Canada, or even into Brazil. Now, where iSIM, I think, is going to benefit people, as you said, is a lower cost bill of materials. We're working with customers on that right now, and I mean, they'll have that iSIM functionality, a smaller platform, or a smaller footprint rather, on the device, plus the full eSIM functionality. Super SIM right now is available at an SGP22 downloadable profile, so we're ready to go on the eSIM SGP22 side and the O2 side, and we got our finger on the pulse with the 32 side. So I think the biggest buzzword here, I think we'll see a lot of, is eSIM and iSIM and all those types of things, so we're trying to stay with it.
So just for those at home who might not be too familiar with some of this terminology, eSIM is a dedicated chip, iSIM is a functional element on a processor within the device. And then the way you manage those devices, because you can't slot a SIM card in anymore, you have to manage it remotely. And there's a bunch of technologies that are available to do that. And that's becoming much simpler with what's termed SGP32, right? That becomes a simpler exercise, or not. You tell me.
I mean, I think it's going to be. SGP32 is going to change the game for a lot of people. I think 22 is really cool in concept, right? The consumer level eSIM, like it's great, but it's fine. Customers are finding it's a lot more work to manage their own profiles out there. 32, I think, is going to really simplify that when it's here.
Okay,
it's going to be neat.
And on that note, Ryan Chappelle, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise.